The Longitude Problem by Allison Freeman, Aaron Shaindienst, and Devin Striegel. Finding longitude was a problem for sailors for thousands of years. Sir Cloudesley Shovel, whose memorial is in the Westminster Abbey, is a perfect example of a sailor who lost everything because he had no way of finding longitude. Sir Shovel was a naval admiral on his way back to England after winning a battle in France. He knew how to find his latitude using tools such as a sextant. However, it was almost impossible for him to find his longitude. Sailing north from France, he believed he was going to see England and know when to head to London. But in reality, his position was farther east than he believed, so instead of going towards England, he was headed to the Scilly Islands. One of the crew members believed Shovel was not in the correct position and was killed for questioning the captain when he spoke up. It was a very foggy evening when Shovel's fleet first realized their grave mistake. The Scilly Islands are treacherous and impossible to see in the fog. After the first ship crashed, it was impossible to turn around. Shovel watched as his ships crashed one by one, and his sailors died because of his mistake in longitude. When Shovel's ship crashed, he miraculously survived and washed up on the beach, only to be found and killed by a woman because she wanted his ring. Shovel was a great admiral, however, without an accurate way of figuring out longitude at sea. Even the best captain could easily make the same perilous mistake. As you can see, Shovel's memorial portrays the admiral laying down draped in robes. It is interesting that Shovel is more relaxed in his memorial, and he does not appear to be one of the great admirals of his time. The inscription talks of Shovel's long and faithful services to Great Britain and the tragedy in the Scilly Islands. The problem of finding longitude was so legendary that it was on par with finding the Fountain of Youth. In order to give people an incentive to find a solution, the British Parliament created the Longitude Act of 1714. This set a reward of what would be several $1 million today for anyone with a practical and useful way of determining longitude. Many people came up with ideas that ranged from utilizing lunar distances to injuring animals to get the reward money. A clockmaker named John Harrison heard about this prize and believed time could solve the longitude problem.
John Harrison was a self-educated clockmaker who sought to unravel the mystery of longitude. At the young age of 20, Harrison built his first long-case clock in 1713. In 1714, the British government enacted the Longitude Prize, offering £20,000 to the individual who solved longitude within an allotted air range of a half of a degree. During the mid-1720s, John and his cousin, James, experimented with the different designs. The clock had to withstand the test of maintaining its accuracy while on board of a ship in motion and the extreme variations of weather that it would be faced with. In order to accommodate the expansion and compression of a clock's pendulum, due to the variability in temperature at sea, John constructed his pendulums of brass and steel. Because a pendulum's oscillation time is crucial in the accuracy of timekeeping, John's ingenious plan to assemble the pendulum of brass and steel was a giant step in creating a clock that could aid in accurately measuring longitude. He called his pendulum the gridiron. Homage to Harrison's use of a bimetallic material for his pendulum can be seen in his memorial tile. A thin bimetallic strip runs through this tile located in Westminster Abbey. John continued to progress when he completed the construction of his first maritime timekeeper, also known as H1, in 1735. This particular design utilized springs as regulators and the gridiron as means of compensation for temperature. John continued to construct 4 more clocks that progressed in accuracy with each design. While the level of accuracy increased from H1 to H5, the size decreased and became more and more compact. H5 was put on trial to determine if it did indeed match the requirements of the Longitude Prize. H5 did meet the requirements. John eventually received over £23,000 in prize money by the end of his life. John's efforts and advances in navigation and timekeeping were not made in vain. Harrison made it possible for us to function in our day-to-day lives. We depend on clocks as well as longitude to navigate through life in an efficient manner. Without Harrison, we would literally and figuratively be lost.
Fun fact, the bimetallic strip on Harrison's memorial tile is oriented on a line of longitude and points due north. Also, the coordinates engraved into the tile are the actual coordinates of the tile itself.